It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning. It's the 15th of April 2019. It's minute past 8 CET time. Piotr here, and this is a pre-London Open live market coverage on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. Hopefully your weekend was great. There was plenty of time to try to recharge the battery to be ready for new trading week. Of course, before we start, risk warning as usual, guys. Please remember, trading FX, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all your initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay. Short week, if we are going to take Friday into consideration, especially in Europe, but looks like Wednesday and Thursday might be very busy. We are going to discuss this tomorrow as we have this afternoon meeting, so we are going to have a little bit more time. Anyway, briefly, what is going on? Easter approaching in Europe, but overall, if you are gonna to check the calendar, for example, Australia is going to be closed between the Friday and Monday for 4 days. But that's nothing compared to Japan, which is going to start the holiday on 27th of April and is going back 7th of May. Sorry, 6th of May is including. So 10 days off for Japan, but no worries, guys. Probably Bank of Japan folks are gonna be on hold, standby. So if anything, they are gonna be ready for action. So it might be second part of the April. It might be how to say it. It might be more quiet, but because of the lower liquidity, we might see some spikes in different assets. One of the possible one of the asset, one of the pair, it might be under the manipulation during this low quiet period, Easter period time, liquidity period time, low liquidity period. It might be euro dollar. All right. The latest CFTC report showed that euro shorts crossed 100k, right? So some may start to think that we are getting closer. Towards the possible short squeeze on one side, but on the other hand, and that's what I'm gonna show you right now. On the other hand, it's not that obvious, taking into consideration latest yield action in US. So let's have a look what happened last Friday in US. All right, that's 30 years yields. All right, and that's the daily chart. That's the latest possible supply after the breakdown, right? And what happened? Last Friday, strong move back above 296. All right, so that's what was supposed to work as supply has been broken. Right, so I wonder what we are gonna to see today. But of course, after such a move, there is a chance we are gonna to see the retest before we are gonna to see 310. That's how I see the things over here, right? On 30s, very similar situation on 10s. Very similar situation on 10s. The latest breakdown, so latest supply taken out on Friday. We are retesting right now here, right? What's the next level? Around 260, 265, this zone over here. But 10s were supporting dollar on Friday as well. And finally, 2 years. Similar situation, all right, but here we testing supply, all right. So here is not that clear what we've seen on 10s and 30s, so it's going to be worth to watch the price action today. Anyway, we are talking about 240 as the key level for a day today. Okay, so if we are here, so let's quickly check what is going on dollar index. All right, that's daily, and Friday morning, Friday during the European session, we were witnessing attempt to dollar sell-off, but the end of the day, mostly because of the price action on the yields, helped dollars to save the day. I like this lower shadow over here, and as long as we hold above, it might be positive for dollar bulls based on this daily chart. Especially what is important for me, it's not lower shadow alone, it's lower shadow within the very logical level, right? So for now, taking into the consideration the price action I've seen last Friday, especially around this possible demand zone, this lower shadow, so for now, for me, as long as we are above, all right, it might be positive for dollar. Now we might see attempt to break lower. The case is where we are gonna to end the day. Okay, so probably tomorrow we are gonna to have more information, but that's positive. Let's have a look at what we have from intraday perspective on the dollar index in that case. Strong late Friday rally. It might be, that's where I'm a little bit afraid. The late Friday rally, it might be related to the end of the week, to the squaring the books, right? So again, a little bit more from the dollar side is needed here, and from intraday perspective would be good to see the clearing of this zone as soon as possible here on Monday, right? So strong price action would be great here during the European session to see the stronger dollar to confirm what we discussed, what we've seen on a daily chart. All right, so we covered the bonds yields, we covered dollar index, so let's switch to particular pairs. Okay, I've mentioned that overall on a dollar index, as long as we are above Friday low, it might be dollar positive, and we are going to discuss the situation on euro dollar and dollar yen in a second. But what I've mentioned in the very beginning, we might see quiet Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday might be very busy. Let's check the calendar before we jump into euro dollar. So today, nothing extraordinary. We've got the German Buba monthly report at 12 CET, 2:30. So right after the New York Open, we do have Empire State Manufacturing Index 2:30 CET, and at the same time we do have Evans FOMC member. Then 4:30 CET, we do have Bank of Canada Business Outlook survey, and we do have Evans again at 7 p.m. CET. Tick long-term purchase at 10 CET, so at the end of the US session. So really nothing extraordinary, maybe only from the Canadian dollar perspective, this Bank of Canada Business Outlook survey at 4:30 CET. So for Canadian dollar traders, that might be something. Then Tuesday, we do have Rosengren FOMC member during the Tokyo session. We do have tomorrow during the Tokyo session RBA monetary policy meeting minutes, and that's it, right? Then European session, pound it's gonna to be, we are going to watch pound carefully because of the job data out of the UK, as well as euro, because they are gonna be the first thing which might try to show the euro direction for this week. I'm talking about the German ZEF at 11 CET tomorrow, right? Nothing extraordinary at the very beginning of the US session tomorrow, and then right before the cash market open, we do have industrial production and capacity utilization rate. Then Tokyo Wednesday, CPI out of the New Zealand, and first big data this week, 4 a.m. CET. So in the middle of the Tokyo session, we do have Chinese GDP. Market expectations are a little bit lower, 6.3 versus 6.4 latest. So in case we are gonna to get anything higher, it might be again risk positive. Just look at Friday price action after the Chinese data, so you know what we may expect. So GDP out of China, big number. Also, we are going to, in relation to this, we are going to get the job market, retail sales, industrial production, fixed asset investment. Then during the European session, that's in Europe, it's gonna be CPI day. So both UK and Eurozone, we are gonna to await CPI. It's worth to mention that Wednesday, that's for a whole day, we are going to get OPEC meeting, and then at 2:30 Wednesday, CPI out of Canada and trade balance out of Canada, okay, as well as Bank of England Carney. Nothing extraordinary from the US at the time. Then right before the close, we are going to get beige book from US. And Thursday, that's the PMI day. So after the German ZEF, right, tomorrow, Thursday, PMI, that might be the critical data for Euro, and maybe we are gonna to get our answer what next with Euro, right? So again, from one side, CFTC showed that Euro shorts cross 100k. Some may look for short squeeze. On the other hand, yeah, data this week critical, probably critical for near-term Euro direction. So in that case, as we know what is going on, what's on the agenda, let's have a look what we have on the option side today. Nothing special, and I'm not surprised based on what we discussed that today, tomorrow might be, because of the nothing special on the agenda, might be a little bit quiet. And there you go, 1250, something around 500 million on Euro. 1335, another 500 million Euro, so that's possible range. 650 million, 112 on dollar yen, and USD CAD 3250, so 80 pips away to the downside, 500 million on USD CAD. So that's how it looks on the option, from the option market perspective. So let's have a look what we have here on the euro dollar. As I mentioned, it might be quiet today, and today, tomorrow, Friday range might be the key, right? So what I'm gonna to look for over the course of the day, taking into the consideration what we were discussing on the dollar index, right? I'm gonna to look for attempt to break higher through Friday low, but with rejection, right? So I'm going to show you what I'm looking for on a smaller time frame. Why I'm going to look for rejection today, right? Because of the agenda, there is nothing extraordinary. So I think that the first attempt to try to take out the Friday high might be rejected. So from the intraday perspective, there might be the opportunity to try to trade short side if we are gonna to fail above last week high, above Friday high, right? On the other hand, if during the European and US session we are not gonna to see the rally towards Friday high, I'm gonna to be surprised, and instead we are gonna to break through weekly open. So we are gonna to break through 113 level, right? We might see retest of the Thursday high. In that case, we are talking about 1287. Thursday open, in that case, we are talking about 1273. But I think that Friday range, so the bottom of the Friday candle, so we are talking about the open 1250. That's the key here. Okay, so again, what we discuss on the dollar index here on euro dollar, we do have the upper shadow in that case, upper shadow within the very important zone. So the possible supply zone bears were active late Friday, right? So it might be once we are gonna to get and close below Friday low, it might confirm hidden supply over here. But that's what we are gonna to get once we are gonna to close day below Friday open. All right, so that's how it looks from the intraday, from the daily chart perspective. So let's have a look what we have on a intraday basis. Okay, still we have some stops, all right, over here, possible stops over here. So where we are right now, let's have a look. Over here, that's the post ECB price action to the downside, and we are, if you remember last week, that this range, that's what is important, and we are at the top of that range, right now. So what I'm looking for during the European and US session, I'm gonna to look for stop count. All right, I'm gonna to place the line, the Friday high, intraday line. So we are looking for some yellow color. The high. Okay. Going back here to see where the stops resides. So we have it here. Okay. What else we have? And we do have not tested on the early, not tested possible supply over here, right? So just to be perfectly clear what I'm looking for in that case, right? I'm looking for, one second, let me move it. I'm looking for attempt to break higher through Friday high. I'm gonna to take into the consideration this Friday rally. Sorry. All right, that was the Friday rally over here. Then deep, so I'm gonna to look for today's open, and if we are gonna at least to make the same size move of the same size, right, we should be able to try to take out these stops, right, and move and hit this possible intraday supply, and within that zone, that's where I'm gonna to look to fade the move to the upside, right? On the other hand, it might happen that we are going to just hit the stops within the green zone based on the daily chart, right? And we might see the rejection immediately. So in that case, my first attempt might be on a retest, right? But I would, in that case, if we are going to see just upper shadow above the Friday high and then rejection, all right, I would like to see move below the demand which are going to take out these stops, right? So let's assume that we are going to start to look for these stops from here, from the weekly open, right? So then the rejection, I want to see the move below, and then retest, right? I would like to see cleaning of some intraday demand, the nearest demand, all right? So in that case, we may activate this supply over here. So that's how I see euro dollar. Dollar yen. Here we saw this strong yield support. So Thursday, Friday, strong rally on dollar yen. And where we are, and we are again testing some significant supply level, right? Over here, okay? So what I'm going to look for, I'm going to observe very carefully the price action above the high from early March, 5th of March 2019, right? Because it might be just stop hunting. Good morning, Mer. It might be just stop hunting, right? And we may hit this supply above 112.20, and we might see the rejection. In that case, it's gonna be worth to have in a background yield chart, right? So once we are gonna to see dollar yen approaching these levels, it's worth to check where we are from the yield perspective, right? If the yield are supporting the move higher, right? So that's a very, very interesting zone, because if bulls are gonna be able to close above, then 115 is the next stop probably, right? So very strong move into the close of last week. 112.20, around this zone we have the possible stops based on price action from the 5th of March, and supply based on what we've seen late October, whole November, the bottom here. So that's gonna be very interesting. On the other hand, if you believe that we are going to see the continuation, so in that case the last week price action, so last week high, 2 weeks ago high, that's the first possible demand, and we are talking about the levels around 111.70, right? So let's switch, and then we are talking about the swing low over here. So we are talking about the 111.30, 110.80, right? So let's switch to intraday chart and let's have a look what we have here. Okay, so I would say that's what I mentioned, something around 1170 as a possible demand, and we are talking about this move to the downside, which has been taken out on Friday, right? It was immediately retested after the break, retest higher, right? So we may try to look for some stops a little bit lower, but again, I do expect during the first attempt here we are gonna to hold this level, right? What was not tested, and I like it much better, is this breakdown zone here, right? So in that case we are talking about the levels closer to 111.35.30. okay, I like it much better. Look what happened here. So there was a breakdown through the support, so we had some supply that was, yeah, then we retested that supply right to the peep, nice flag, boom, breakdown again. Then Thursday, strong rally. There was no look back. There was a reaction, initial reaction over here at the top of this supply, and then no look back. There was only one way ticket to the upside, to the moon, right? So if that was the supply which has been tested and then broken, right? So once we are gonna to revisit this level first time, I do expect strong demand here. So very vigilant here around the first demand, and I like these lower levels. Okay, I like very much these lower levels on dollar yen. Finally, pound. No change in view, taking into consideration what we've seen last week, very narrow range, and every attempt to go higher, it was the upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow. Okay, still of course strong 130, 129.70 as a demand. All right, but the price action, the range from the 3rd of April, 3rd of April, Friday range, right? So supply, let's switch to the smaller time frame. Okay, so we hit stops, we were discussing rejection, right? So retest of that supply, it's gonna be my first attempt to try to short it. I'm not waiting with the limit order yet. I wanna see the price action during the London session and the behavior around this level. Because if we are gonna to break to the upside, then we are talking about the range break. And in that case, next possible supply is a little bit higher, right? Towards 32.15, 32.20. So I'm not waiting, because what I would like to avoid. I would like to avoid the situation that we have during the London Open, one candle like this, and I'm done, right? I would like to avoid it. So I'm gonna wait and see. That's my approach. Wait and see. This 1-to-1 move, that might be the case for me. That's what I may wait for. All right. And wanna see price action around 31.20, 31.30, right? What's gonna be my target? Bottom of that range. Of course, at some point, if I'm gonna to see breakdown through weekly open, blue dotted line, all right, I might start to actively manage my position, right? I'm gonna first target gonna be bottom of that range, right? Where I'm gonna to try to close half, and the rest, yeah, why not? I'm gonna to wait for the break to the downside. But once I'm gonna be short, let's say from here, right? I'm gonna to see the break through the weekly open, but I'm not gonna to see the touch of the bottom of that range. Instead, I'm gonna to see that market is trying to turn. I'm actively gonna to start to manage the position, right? Moving my stop a little bit lower, trying to at least to have something in case of, I don't know, low volume rally or whatever, right? Just because very often what happens very often is that we blindly, okay, I'm opening here, that's my target, and whatever happened, we have to go there, right? And then the price is hitting 2 pips above or below the target, we are not filled, and then we are stopped out at entry, right? And someone is saying, oh, nothing has happened, I didn't lost anything. Oh geez, what a mistake, you lost a lot. But that's something we are going to discuss during the webinars. That's a huge mistake with this type of the approach. And of course, I'm gonna to watch 30.2970. If we are gonna to reject that zone again, of course that might be the long setup. But anyway, at least for now, based on what we discussed on dollar index at the very beginning, for now I'm quite dollar positive, but it might easily change within the next few hours, right? So watch out the dollar index, the low, Friday low. Watch out the yields. If dollar may get the support again, right here. And finally, let's switch for a second to Bitcoin. Bulls are doing quite well. So what is important thing that during this rejection at the high, we managed to hold 4,950. That's what we discussed. If you remember, that's the top of that demand, which we have to agree still holds, right? So that was the level over here, top of that demand over here, right? So once been broken lately, so the rejection we stalled at 4,950 based on the chart I'm using here. All right, so that's the positive development. Of course right now we have to, as a bulls, we have to take out these levels. All right, so we are talking about 5,350, 5,500, and once it's done, it might open, or it's gonna to open the way towards this critical breakdown level, and we are talking about 5,800, 6,000, right? That's what we've seen here, right? Especially that based on the initial range, right? If we are moving by the same distance but the same size, looks like we got the chance to revisit this 6,000. And yeah, that's not gonna be surprise for me to see wall of supply around this level, right? I'm not gonna be surprised to see wall of supply in between 5,800 and 6,000 on Bitcoin. But for now, positive development. We are holding 4,950, 5,000. All right. So we might see, for now, not saying about 6,000. Let's see what we are gonna to get at the retest of 5,350, 5,500. In case of rejection over here, right? We are talking about this middle range over here, taking into consideration the sizes, right? So breakout of initial, we hit the target and we are fighting. In case of another rejection, we may see move back towards the bottom of that range and the top of the original range, right? In that case, we are talking about 4,400, 4,200. So that's how I see the things on the Bitcoin. And again, preparing the separate meetings, crypto related as well, so no worries. That's it from me today, guys. Reminder, we do have 2 meetings tomorrow. The first one starts at 8 a.m. CET. So we are gonna to cover pre-London Open again. And then at 2 p.m. CET, we are going to cover and it's gonna take a little bit longer as usual this afternoon meetings. We are gonna to cover New York Open, right? So you are more than welcome to join me tomorrow for these 2 meetings. For today, that's it. Be careful. I do not expect fireworks today, so don't be trapped, and let's have a meeting tomorrow. Have a great day, have a great Monday. See you again tomorrow. Take care, goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.